Hey, you guys, welcome back to this week's episode of the Shannon McCabe Show. I am super excited to chat. For the next few weeks, I'm going to do some shorter episodes, but really dive into some of the things that happen this time of year, the holidays. So whether you're listening to these in real time or catching them later, I want you to know that what we're going to be talking about really can be interchanged with a lot of occasions in sobriety. So if it's not the holiday season anymore, don't skip this. It's still going to be relevant because you can take what we're talking about today and apply it to just your first sober weekends. You can apply it to some occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, your first sober concert, a trip, anything. Okay. So these are just going to be some themes, the things that I went through, of course, in my own sobriety, the things that I walk clients through all the time now, and how you'll see that sometimes it's just a couple tweaks to the way we're thinking about something. It's our perception. It's our mindset that can completely change the experience we have, okay? Before I get to that, though, I want to mention a couple things. First of all, you guys, this morning we officially hit downloads in 60 countries, which just blows me away. Like, I actually just got goosebumps when I said that because I'm blown away, which is, there's not a better way to say it, you guys. I started this podcast after thinking about it for a really long time and everything finally kind of aligned. But knowing that we have grown so fast, so quickly, there's so many people literally all over the world in 60 countries listening to these conversations. It touches me. Like, first of all, I'm so grateful that God is using the absolute dumpster fire of my drinking to hopefully help save so many of you from going through even a tiny little bit of just the mess that I was stuck in and the chaos that alcohol created for me. And knowing that this is hopefully helping you feel less alone and helping you realize that you're not alone. People all over the world that are choosing sobriety, either A, because you had an absolute for sure problem like I did, or B, just because you're being proactive and realizing I'm going to quit this now. I don't want a problem. I don't want to sabotage my health any more than I already have through drinking. Whatever has brought you here, I'm so grateful. I'm so honored. And I hope that you just can feel better today knowing that you're not alone and you're not weird and you're not lame and you're not boring and you're not ruining the rest of your life by choosing not to drink. If any, we are doing the most life affirming thing that we could be by choosing not to drink. And the fact that there's so many of you literally all over the world listening to these conversations proves that. So if you need that reminder, if you need to know that you're not alone in this, I hope that knowing how many of us are having these conversations, listening these conversations, making this decision to live alcohol free. You guys, this movement is only growing and it's not going anywhere. This isn't a fad. This isn't a trend. This is an awakening. This is people realizing that there's not a lot we can control in our lives. So we owe it to ourselves to control what we can. And doing this thing, choosing to let go of alcohol and be sober, is one of the most empowering things we can do for ourselves and the people we love and the things we love in all of it. So just thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for rating the show and leaving reviews because that just helps other people find it, right? Those are the little kind of annoying technical things that help all of, the powers that be when it comes to podcasting know that this show is impacting people and it helps the podcast platforms decide to show it to other people. So thank you for taking the time to do that. The next exciting thing, you guys, is finally, this has been such a long time coming. I am officially hosting my first sober retreat. So if you follow me on socials, if you check out my website, everything like that, you've seen me talking about it already, but we are going to Sedona in April 2026 for a long, luxurious weekend for sober women. This is going to be really just the embodiment of all the work I do in my coaching containers, basically. So we are going to just talk about how do we create a life that actually feels good once we've quit drinking? Because we don't quit drinking to just not drink, right? We do it so that we can heal and feel fantastic as much of the time as possible. So we are going to have some guided workshops all by me. This is going to be an intimate weekend for me and you and other sober women to hang out and to talk about the habits that us deal with the stress in our lives, the habits that help us heal our body and heal our mind. So there will be some talk on nutrition. There'll be some talk on other things I do on a daily basis to recover from the damage that alcohol did, but to also keep me growing in health and keep me emotionally strong and resilient. There's going to be spa treatments. There's going to be this resort is so gorgeous, you guys. We're looking at, the Red Rocks in Sedona, pool time, amazing food. Food is included. So I just encourage you guys to check this out. Space is limited because I want this to be a really close, tight knit, supportive group where, these kinds of retreats, it's like we're gonna have these conversations that are gonna stay with us for the rest of our lives. We're gonna make connections that we're gonna look back on and be like, this shifted during that one weekend and changed how I felt about this going forward, how I felt about myself, how I showed up in my life going forward. So all of the details are in the show notes. They're on my website. You can find them on Instagram. Spots are limited. So if you are at all interested, check it out. Reserve your spot. It's going to be so beautiful. And I really hope I get to meet some of you in Sedona. So anyways, let's dive in today now. We're going to talk about what happens when we start romanticizing the past. When all of those realistic or unrealistic, glossy glamorization, romanticizing our past drinking days comes back up. And how we can kind of nip it in the bud and bring ourselves back to the present and stay grounded in the present and why it's better for us, okay? This happens especially around the holidays, which is why I want to talk about this now. But it can happen anytime. Like I said, maybe you're coming up on your first vacation since you quit drinking. Maybe it's just getting used to sober weekends. Maybe it's a birthday, it's an anniversary, it's anything, you guys. But around the holidays especially, it's so easy to slip into nostalgia, right? This trick that our brain and our subconscious plays on us where all of a sudden we only remember the good things, the things that we think felt good, and everything else kind of fades to the background, all right? This can happen around the holidays for a lot of reasons, right? It might just be the act of decorating a tree. It might be smelling a candle. It might be seeing wine glasses set out somewhere. It could be the music. It could be, a party or a gathering coming up. But suddenly you find yourself playing that highlight reel of holidays past where you used to drink. And you can start to believe the lie, because it is a lie, that all of the good things, like the laughter, the warm feeling, the coziness, the twinkle of it all, you start to think that that was because of the alcohol. And that without that wine, without that bubbly champagne, without the whiskey old fashioned, whatever it is, that those things are not going to happen for you anymore. That they're going to be out of your reach, that you're going to be somehow kind of on the outside now, feeling less than or feeling not as good about your holidays simply because you're not drinking. But this is the thing, you guys. This is what I've learned, and this is what I see my clients learn every year now for the last couple of years, is that nostalgia has a really funny way of editing out the truth. It absolutely creates a highlight reel and leaves out a lot of the reality. And that reality is what led most of us to decide that we were better off without alcohol, okay? So when we are romanticizing the past, we're not remembering it accurately. We're remembering the version that we wish was true is really what it is. We are picking and choosing only the parts we want to focus on. And a lot of times we're actually twisting that reality to serve this narrative of alcohol being this magical elixir that makes things magical, okay? Our brain likes to filter out the messy parts. It filters out the things like the blacking out and not actually remembering how the night ended. It filters out the anxiety the next day. It filters out the dread and the regret and the shame. It filters out the shitty sleep and the way that shows up in our puffy face and our bloodshot eyes, not stomach or coffee the next morning, but pretending that we can. It filters out the short temper, the way that you snap at your loved ones and your kids or your husband. It filters out the things that we actually missed because we were drinking, okay? And so it's not that the good parts didn't happen. And we don't have to negate that. We don't have to say that there weren't some fun, enjoyable, memorable, amazing things that actually did happen while we were drinking. But we also don't have to make it seem like those moments are more real or more important than the hard parts that were caused by our drinking, okay? We also don't want to believe the fear and the lies that we can't have those memories and the belonging and the connectedness and the togetherness without alcohol, because that's exactly what's happening here. Our subconscious, like the human brain, is wired for connection. It's wired for us to want to belong and to feel safe and to feel accepted. And when we spent so much of our adult life using alcohol to foster that togetherness, to foster those connections, to foster that sense of belonging, especially around key emotional times like the holidays, it can feel really intense and it can feel really tricky. And our mind actually plays tricks on us when we try to think about now venturing into these times of togetherness and these emotionally charged situations like holidays without alcohol, okay? So if this is happening to you, it's okay. You're not broken and you're not like doomed to either be miserable in sobriety or go back to drinking. You just need to pause and take a couple minutes to like recenter and reground and focus on what's true here, okay? Because when we get really honest with ourselves, the moments that we think we miss, the beautiful, glossy, like dream-like things that we're missing, that we're remembering, it wasn't actually about the drink. It was about those other things that I mentioned. It was about the connection. It was about the relaxation. It was about the belonging. It was about like the excitement and the buildup of the holidays and the events and everything like that, okay? Alcohol is not what makes those things happen, and it's not what makes those things special. You are what makes those things special. I am what makes those things special. The people that we choose to spend our time with are what makes those things special. The alcohol just happened to be there. But now that we've removed it, everything else can still be present. It still gets to be about us, about me and about you and about your family and your friends and the things you're excited about. None of that has to go away. None of that has to change just because you don't bring alcohol into the equation anymore, okay? So when that nostalgia really hits, when that wave of nostalgia comes, when you're romanticizing the drinking, when the glamorization of alcohol, that is everywhere this time of year. It's on social media, it's in the movies, it maybe is even coming from friends and family and people that you love and respect. When you feel that kind of ache for that like old way that you used to do this time of year, just try this simple shift. I want you to just take a pause for a minute and remind yourself that you don't have to reach for the past. You can just create it in the present. Create what you want. Create what you want to experience in this new way without alcohol. Because you'll probably be really surprised actually at how easily you can do it and how good you feel when you realize that you get to be like fully present, fully aware. You're going to enjoy all of these amazing moments with your kids, with your spouse, with your family, and you're actually going to remember them the next day. They're not going to be blurry. They're not going to be fuzzy. You're not going to wake up nauseous and hungover from them. You're going to be full of gratitude and full of pride, okay? So doing this, taking this pause, grounding yourself into creating what you want, it doesn't have to be complicated, you guys. We do this by just like taking the pause, stepping out of the like kind of doom spiral that our brain likes to go down, and taking a pause. And sometimes it can just be a breath. It can be a couple quick breaths. It can be a prayer. Maybe you have a prayer or a mantra that you turn to in times of like unrest and anxiety. Maybe you're going to need to practice it and rely on it a little bit more this time of year, right? When you find yourself like drifting into those like, oh, remember when, just take that pause, take a deep breath, focus on what's actually around you, focus on your reality. Think about what you're grateful for. Think about all of the ways that your sobriety has served you already. There's no reason it's not going to continue to do that through the holidays. Think about all of the moments that you've already overcome in your sober journey. There's no reason to think you're not going to do that again. Say a prayer if you have one. One of my favorite and go-to prayers lately is simply like, God, take my fear and turn my attention to where you would have it be. And I replace fear with any other word, right? So it could be like, God, take my anxiety and turn my attention to where you'd have it be. God, take my frustration, take my annoyance, take my anger, take my resentment, any of it. Take my doubt, take my insecurity. God, take my insecurity and turn my attention to where you'd have it be. It's enough for my brain to stop and to look for something else. You guys, we find what we're looking for. The more we're looking for something, the more of it we see. So if you look for more reasons why the holidays are going to suck without drinking, you are going to find those reasons everywhere. But if you are looking for reasons why this could be your best holiday ever, you're going to find that everywhere. Okay? This is real life. This is what you get to create. This is you being in control. And this is you deciding that, oh my God, this actually could be one of the best holidays I've had in years, if not decades, because I feel better about myself and my life than I have in decades. And anytime like a momentary wobble, a momentary thought about alcohol comes up, you get to recenter. You get to bring yourself back. And you can even think that. You can be like, you know what? Heart, subconscious brain, thank you. Thank you for trying to protect me and lead me back to something that you think is safety, but it's not. And I'm not going that way anymore. I'm releasing those thoughts and I am focusing on what I'm creating here and now. And what I'm creating here and now is presence and gratitude and confidence that sober me is going to love the holidays just as much, if not more, than drinking me did. Okay. So if this is the first time that you are walking through the holiday sober, I know that it can feel like disorienting, you guys. And especially if you've been sober for a little while, whether that's 2 months, 6 months, 10 months, and you've been feeling pretty good, but now all of a sudden the holidays are here and you're like, man, like why? Why am I thinking about drinking again? Why am I romanticizing it? Remember it, you guys. It's not you. That's just your subconscious doing what it's doing. It's got no frame of reference for sober you and holidays. So it's just trying to figure out how this all fits together. You get to decide how it all fits together. But it just might require a little more intention and a little more effort than you've had to put in a while, okay? But it's going to pay off, okay? Everything gets to still be amazing. Everything can still be like twinkle lights and sparkle and laughter and warmth and coziness and fun, if that's what you decide to create. There's a saying here, and it's totally escaping me right now, but it's like, it's the thing that's like what you focus on grows, basically, right? So whatever you give your energy to is what you are going to continue to experience. So if you feed these thoughts of like nostalgia and missing out and romanticizing and glamorizing alcohol, it's going to continue to grow and get bigger and feel stronger. But if you take your energy off of those things and put it towards making the most of these moments right now, creating your new memories, anchoring sober you into holidays, you guys, it can be magical. It can be amazing. It is. I know it. I've experienced it. I've seen clients experience it for a couple of years now, and clients right now that are getting ready to experience it. And it's amazing. It's actually really hard to put into words until you experience it for yourself. And then it becomes another thing that's like a shared knowing among us, that it's like, oh my God, yeah, like it's even better. It's even better than we thought that it could be. So if that's something that you feel like you want more of, that knowing, that connection, those conversations, I invite you guys to check out Elevate. So Elevate is my monthly membership community for already sober women. And what we were just talking about today is a lot of what's happening inside Elevate right now. We are sober women, most of them getting ready to go through their first sober holidays. So we're just anchoring into the things that make us feel confident, make us feel excited, make us feel grounded. We're talking about how to actually prepare for these holidays, how to just make sure we're kind of checking all the boxes off the list so that we can show up feeling as good as possible about being sober and doing the holidays, and then having a group of sober friends to cheer us on, to help us problem solve if something feels a little bit bumpy. If you are craving more community, more encouragement, more support, more people that get it, I really encourage you to check out Elevate, because yeah, we can do sobriety alone, right? Like we can, but God, it's so much better when we're doing it with other people that get it, and other people that get how far we've come and can help us really celebrate and be proud of where we are now and where we're continuing to go. Okay. I just want you guys to know that you don't need to think about going back to the old version of you to enjoy the holidays. I promise that you can learn to enjoy these sober holidays just as much, if not more, by just showing up as this new, like fully aligned, fully alive, sober version of you. And when you get through this, you're going to be so proud of yourself and so glad that you did it. So if this landed for you today, you guys, I would love to hear. I love all of the emails I get, all of the direct messages over on Instagram. I would just love to know how this helped you, if it helped you. And thank you for hanging out. And I can't wait to chat again next week. So I'll see you guys then.